am Commissioner Nancy Jester, and welcome to Nancy Jester Reports for Tuesday, September 17th. Today we met as a committee of the whole and did our agenda setting and received presentations, and then we had some committee meetings that I'll tell you about. We received a presentation from MARTA on our Tuesday committee of the whole meeting, and the things that are before us right now are approving the 15th Amendment to the MARTA contract. This is something we're still talking about because of the way the half-cent penny that Atlanta passed is affecting this contract. So there's details there that we need to look at, and how the projects for DeKalb County factor into that agreement, and indeed all of the jurisdictions that are part of MARTA. So Atlanta, Fulton, DeKalb, Clayton. So there you go. One of the things that MARTA went over in their presentation, their big push to install bus stop amenities and improve bus shelters across all of MARTA. 35% of these improvements are happening in DeKalb. I think it's over 1,000 bus stops. And so they gave us an update on where they are there, and also some discussion of their transit-oriented development plans and projects where they are. So good to hear from MARTA. We went over our strategic economic development goals and priorities. This was a follow-up to some meetings we've already had about this. So, and we've got a document about how we might score potential projects that we might want to support. So we're working on that, and comments will be due from commissioners by the end of this month into that process. So stay tuned for more activity with that plan and those plans. Let's see. So we set our agenda, and most things are deferred to committee, and then we hear them in committee, as is usually the case, and then we'll come back and vote on them next week. So on our meeting, we had our Finance Committee and our Public Works Committee meeting. So I chair Finance. We went over our the audit of the IT department, our physical security, our data center physical security audit. So that's what we recently had, and I'm feeling really good. A lot of the information in this is confidential, so because of data security and privacy issues. So some of it, the report is blacked out, but we had a really good conversation with the auditor and with our IT director. There's concurrence there. Any of the issues that he saw as an auditor that need to be, just some suggestions for tightening things up and understanding things, they're all concurred. Management concurs and are working on them, and I'm feeling very good about where we are with that issue. So we also went over the budgeting process with the budget director. So as we're getting toward the end of this fiscal year, we want to know the plans for producing the FY20 budget. So we went over some of the things he's doing and some of their target dates for departmental budgets to be to them, and what they're doing. And the commissioners, we will be also forwarding our priorities to the administration, so that when they're constructing their budget, the vision and the priorities and the goals of the Board of Commissioners is also used to develop that, to develop the whole budget. So good FAB meeting. We had, and we recommended, we will be recommending approval of the acceptance of the Justice Assistance Grant, the JAG grant we get. And it was really nice. We had folks from the DA's office, the drug court, juvenile court, marshal's office, police, public defender, sheriff's office, and solicitor general. Hope I'm not missing anybody, that came and discussed what they do with their JAG grant monies, what it's supporting, everything from some substance abuse programs to delinquency programs to the defense of indigent folks that are in the criminal justice system, to some new techniques for forensic science techniques for our DA. So it was always good to have them in committee and hear what they're working on in their offices. So on to Public Works. As you can see, we had a very big agenda for Public Works. We started with a brief on the water, the boil water advisory that we had over the weekend. Not a deep dive in that committee meeting, but the watershed director talked us through what happened. We think we had 2 direct strikes at the water plant, so that's a very unusual event. It's not just simply a power outage. It was an actual lightning strike. So they're continuing to investigate exactly what happened. He, like I said, gave us a briefing, took us through the timeline so we can understand things. We asked some questions. There are some certainly concerns about communication strategies and other things. So we're doing a more granular deep dive and investigation of that I'll be able to report back to you later on. But I'm pleased that the administration is taking this after action review, and the commissioners are following it closely because certainly it was an unusual event, but we want to learn from it that what weaknesses we have and ways we can mitigate any of the risks and weaknesses in the system. So just to protect us in the future for any other unusual events or other things that happen, unexpected events. So more on that one in a future update. Let's see, so we had a number of procurement items on here. We continue to have on here the VNF Solutions procurement item, which continues to be deferred. So we're continuing to decide whether we think that paying this particular consultant for consent decree work is in fact the right investment for DeKalb County. So that one is still on hold. We went through a number of purchases, fencing, various things at Watershed, various equipment equipment pieces that they need to do their jobs. Let's see. We deferred a traffic signaling equipment procurement item because we have some issues there. Also, we have deferred the LMIG road resurfacing projects, $11 million contract, because we've got some questions. Just we need to go over the list of the roads on that particular contract. We also need to have it audited. It's a significant contract. It's over $11 million, and audit has not completed their work on that. And you'll recall, I will not vote yes on any procurement over $3 million that has not been audited by our Office of Internal Independent Auditor, and we've been saving a lot of money with that. So I look forward to them getting back to us with that audit. Let's see, just various other things. We had to ratify a few emergency purchases that were done to fix sewer line issues that came up. Now, and the thing is, I do not like ratifications, because that means the money got spent and they're coming and asking us for an approval after the fact, which that's always a bad sign. I don't like that. These were all legitimate things, sewer manholes dislodging and having to go in and have emergency fixes, things like that. So I get that, but that should be covered under an existing contract. So I'm very frustrated with why it wasn't. We have fixed that, though. We do now have emergency contracting capabilities now, so we should not be seeing this ratification where we're going to go back and approve something they had to spend, because it's covered in another contract now. But that's a recent development, so we did have these ratifications, which I'm not ever really happy about. So good work in PWI today. Lots of detailed information. So that's where we are. We'll probably in the next couple months be hearing we'll hear more about what happened with the boil water advisory issue with the power loss at the water plants. So, and we'll also be talking budgets a lot more in detail. We've got some good audit things coming down the pipe. So stay tuned for the next edition of Nancy Jester Reports.